Hey, what's up my YouTube friends? This is Richard, founder of Short Term Rental University and Airbnb Superhost. Today's video is about the new team feature that Airbnb rolled out. But before we get into it, I really want to encourage you to go ahead and click subscribe right now because you found our videos helpful, and subscribing actually triggers YouTube to notify other hosts that there's some really great content here. So do me a favor and subscribe. First off, what is it? Well, Airbnb has rolled out a new section. It may not be available to everybody. It seems like it's happening slowly over time, but they've got this professional host section, which is for hosts that have 6 listings or more. But don't worry, if you don't have 6 listings, there's still lots to learn. So please pay attention to what's going on because we want to have 6 listings or we want to have more than 6 listings. So what's the best way to have 6 listings or more? Well, learn from the pros. So I, for one, was really encouraged when I learned about this Teams tab because it seems to make so much sense, right? Like, we're running businesses, we're entrepreneurs, we have a team of people, and if Airbnb wants to help us manage that team of people and help us run our daily business, how cool would that be? So I was really excited to learn more and drill down on it and figure out what was going on. It seemed to me like it was a replacement or the next iteration for what they called co-hosting before, which is encouraging people to work with friends, partners, relatives, or start businesses without actually owning the homes, but managing the property. And so unfortunately, it's really not any of that. And I just don't know if Airbnb is starting slowly and they have plans to expand, or if this is sort of like the end-all be-all. But really all Teams is a breakdown of different job functions that they think you could assign to different people, but realistically, they're not so specialized that you really need different people. And here's a kind of interesting thing. If you do use the Teams function, then you can't co-host. So you have to disable your co-hosting on that listing, or if you're a co-host currently, you can't use Teams. And so it's kind of premature. I'm not sure this was very well thought out. It doesn't seem very well executed. I, for one, in my co-hosting, would not stop co-hosting to become a team member. And likewise, I wouldn't encourage anybody to become a team member at the expense of co-hosting because right now it's not that robust. You can find the Teams functionality if it's rolled out, if you have more than 6 listings, and it's on the Professional Tools page. Now, the Professional Tool page, I'm going to spend a little bit more time and analyze, and we'll probably film more videos, but just to get you caught up to speed, it includes things like listings page, multi-calendar, occupancy tax, the pro marketing page, which sounds interesting, rule sets, and standard fees. But as it relates to Teams, which is what we're talking about, everybody gets basic permissions, which means you can review but not edit calendars and reservations and the account performance. So again, everyone on the team can review that. Then there's specifications that you can permit people, like listing management. So you can create the listings, you can unlist, you can snooze and deactivate listings. So you only want to set that permission for somebody that you really trust because they can change the nature of your business. They can stop, start, stall, change it. Then there's guest management functionality, which allows you to make changes, adjust the reservation dates, the number of guests, block the calendar, review earnings, enter into the file resolution center. So if there's a problem, they could be a point of contact. Another section is now pricing and availability. This individual on the team can manage the price settings, including discounts and fees and smart pricing, currency, nightly price, all things related to the pricing, syncing the Airbnb calendars to their existing systems, and you can create and edit different rule sets. So again, extremely important. Another area that Airbnb thinks is really important, and it is finances. And in this tab, the people can access the transaction history, they can export payout reports, they can review earnings, so really important stuff. And then finally, there's the team management section, which is somebody who's basically like an admin who's deciding what roles people have, inviting people to the team, and so on. This person can access all permissions and invite people and delete people. This is really important. This is what we would traditionally consider the admin tab. In fact, they can deactivate the team altogether. So you really want to be careful with all that. Now, the key takeaways, again, I don't think this is particularly helpful for me to run my business. I'm not going to have all sorts of different people accessing it and doing all of this. Most of this stuff I do myself, but I do think it's really valuable for all hosts, whether you've got 1 property or 600, to think about the different segments of the business operation, like things that you need to do. You need to have the listing management, you need to have the calendar management, you need to have the transaction and finance management. You need to think about setting up teams. I think of my teams more broadly, like folks on the ground, cleaning team. I'm disappointed that Airbnb hasn't really included any of that functionality, actually managing the people on the ground. I think that that's a really important area where a lot of hosts struggle, and a real opportunity for Airbnb to add value back to our hosting community, saying, we're going to facilitate it. We're going to allow cleaning teams to access the calendar quickly and easily and update. There's third-party apps, and we'll review some of them in the future that help facilitate that. But it seems like if Airbnb, with their massive amount of computing power and people on board, growing so incredibly quickly, really wanted to help us with teams, that would be where I would focus. So in conclusion, I don't really think this adds a ton of value to me. I'd be curious to hear what you think, but personally, I have a co-host or a virtual assistant, and we do all of those things together. In fact, most of that stuff is handled by one person. They can export the transactions and send that to my bookkeeper. I don't need to give my bookkeeper access to the platform and go through the process of setting up a permission and giving him a team and a new login. It's really quick and easy to just export and send it. And likewise, my pricing, I use dynamic pricing. I use Beyond Pricing, as you know. And so like that updates my pricing. I don't need to set a different team member to do that. So in a nutshell, a lot of the things that I've already done to scale solve this problem. And if you've got 6 listings and you're a professional host, chances are you've figured out automation and ways to scale to get you to 6 different listings. And if you haven't, you need to do so. So maybe you'll find this helpful. But I think the vast majority of the viewers aren't at 6 listings. And I think the real lesson here is to figure out what it takes to get to 6 listings. And so start to segment and think about your business using these different teams, and whether you do it or your virtual assistant does it, or you use the team feature, just realize Airbnb in their wisdom thinks these are the most critical things today to focus on. So that's it. Go ahead and leave your comments below. Do you use the Teams tab? Do you think this would be helpful? If you don't use the team tabs, what do you do? Again, we all learn. So leave your comments below, subscribe to the channel, and for interactive dialogue, please come visit us at the Facebook group, Short Term Rental University. It's free. There's 12,500 hosts posting comments just like this every single day. So thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it, and happy hosting.